I think you voted early.
Oh, well, let's go then.
I got-
We're hotted up, yeah.
Councilmember Navarra Gomez, if you could come, that'd be great. We'll start our city council special meeting for this Thursday, November 20th. First thing to do is pledge of allegiance. Councilmember Navarra Gomez, will you lead us, please?
Yes, since I'm up. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Harold just called me. She's on Stevens Pass, so she won't be making it. So if we could get a motion by chance.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion to excuse Councilmember Harold from the meeting.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Hornby and second by Councilmember Ewer to excuse Councilmember Harold. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. It's time for our citizen comments, a period opportunity for members of the public to address the council on any matter, including items on the agenda. We do have 2 public hearings, so if you're here for that, if you can wait during the public hearings, that'd be great. If you just come up, and we'll limit to 3 minutes, and just state your name and address, please.
Ryan Campbell, 1837 Jefferson Street. Good evening, Mayor and Council. With the finalization of the budget tonight, I'd like to readdress my concerns with the New America Performing Arts Center. I spoke previously about my concern that the city of Wenatchee has been inappropriately gifting public funds to the PAC since 2005 to the tune of $350,000 plus. In the initial ground lease between the supporters of the center and the city of Wenatchee, the PAC was to pay $17,500 per year on the ground lease. In 2005, Mayor Dennis Johnson reduced the ground lease to $1. The PAC is required to offer 2% of their show seats to the low-income citizens in the community that couldn't otherwise financially afford to attend. The PAC is required to send quarterly reports to the city showing who received the free seats. They are also required to provide financial statements to the city every 5 years, ostensibly so that it can determine whether or not the PAC can afford to make their original lease payments again. I completed a public records request in order to analyze the 80 quarterly reports and 5 financial statements that were required to be submitted by the PAC to the city. Not only is the PAC not fulfilling their obligations under the ground lease and providing the required reports and financial statements, the city isn't doing their due diligence receiving and analyzing the reports. It also appears that the seats aren't being given to those in need, but instead they're going to other organizations like the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. In the PAC's 2023-2024 online annual report, they show investments of $256,929, cash in the bank of $543,894, and a $3,911,393 net worth. It appears that they could easily be paying their original $17,500 ground lease instead of laying that burden on the public. I will forward my findings to the State Auditor's Office and State Attorney General's Office for any further action. As a retired banker, it's concerning to me to hear council members say that Wenatchee runs a tight ship and that expenses can't be cut without a reduction in city service levels. The $5 million office spaces being added at the sewer treatment facility come to mind, and the tens of millions of dollars invested in the city hall. The tax increases being forced upon the citizens aren't necessary, but fiscal responsibility is. Please be transparent with the public and show the belt tightening that you've done before taxing the citizens out of their homes. Thank you.
Who is next? Please come on up.
Hello, council members and mayor. My name is Tara Shuttleworth, and I live in Wenatchee. I'm here today to again address the situation involving the Wenatchee School District and the removal of my substitute teaching certification from my file without any procedural due process. As you know, I reached out to each of you requesting assistance in ensuring that the school district provides me basic due process protections. I was informed that the city council could not intervene in what was considered a personal matter. Since then, I have received written communication from both the school board president and the superintendent stating that because I am classified as an at-will employee, my certification to substitute teach has been removed in the Wenatchee School District. I was never given the opportunity to present my account of this incident, and I was informed that the case is now considered closed. It is concerning to hear that the city believes this issue falls outside of its scope. The behavior and educational challenges occurring within our schools do not stop at the schoolhouse door. They become citywide issues when these same young people move through our community, enter the workforce, or continue to struggle without adequate support. The city has shown a commitment to elevating students' voices through the Junior City Council. However, it is equally important that faculty and substitute teachers be afforded the same respect and opportunity to speak when allegations are made against them. In this situation, a group of 7th grade students expressed their perspective. Based on that, the executive director of human resources removed my certification without hearing from me. Students deserve to be heard, but so do the adults entrusted with their education and safety. To seek resolution, I have contacted the city, the school district, labor and industries, the Chelan County prosecuting attorney, the city of Wenatchee's attorney office, the Washington State Bar Association, and multiple education attorneys. I have yet to receive any support. My goal is simple: to ensure that staff and substitute teachers are not treated as disposable at-will workers when accusations arise, but instead are given fair process and the opportunity to respond before action is taken. Today, I respectfully ask the city to reconsider its position and to recognize my case as one that deserves attention. I am asking for the city's support in ensuring that due process protections are upheld for educators within our community.
All right, who's next? Come on up, please. State your name and address.
Good afternoon. My name is Mario Cruz. I live in East Wenatchee. I have a business in Wenatchee at 201 Ferry Street. And I've been having a couple of problems with the vendors who are coming up at night, who are taking away my business. They're not even paying any kind of taxes, which we are doing ours, paying our taxes, and nobody's checking these guys to see if they're doing their taxes or having any kind of permits, and we all pay permits. Like my guys over here, they all have business also, and they do the same thing. They pay permits, all the requirements from the city, and these guys just come in the afternoon, at night when you guys are closed, and nobody checks on them. And they're taking away our business also. Thank you.
Do you mind, sir, do you mind leaving your contact information over here? Maybe just your name and address, or just if you guys have a group, that'd be great.
Okay.
Okay, who's next? Mario, were you speaking for your group, Mario, pretty much? You're speaking for your group? Okay. Come on up.
Sean Tepper, 545 Saddle Rock Loop. Good evening, Mayor and Council. In 2024, the Wenatchee World wrote about flock safety cameras coming to Chelan and Douglas County in East Wenatchee. 17 days later, East Wenatchee City Council approved a resolution to authorize the contract with Flock Group Incorporated. No such resolution was presented here. No public city documents mentioned Flock until August 28, 2025, when three members of council reported in a committee meeting stating the police department was utilizing and expanding their Flock camera network. I would appreciate it if the city is going to install AI-powered surveillance technology. It provides the same courtesy as our neighbors across the river and puts it to a public council vote. October 27, 2025, the Wenatchee World reports both cities were providing access to their flock networks to Border Patrol, which if accessed would be a violation of state law. Both cities reported to have now turned it off, national sharing, only granting access to Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. I hope the city's legal counsel has considered the potential, given Idaho Code 18-623, that this passive sharing could put us in violation of Washington's Shield Law. I request activation of the Flock Transparency Portal. This tool shows the public what information is being tracked, gives an audit of anonymized search logs. In the 2024 article, all three agencies stated they would be using this transparency portal. It is nearly 2026, and none of those agencies have kept their word. With documented cases such as a police chief in Kansas using the system hundreds of times to stalk his ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend, hopefully you can understand this request. We are only as secure as the least secure person with access to the system, both here and every agency allowed access. 3% of agencies using Flock don't use multi-factor authentication at all. A white paper from GainSec outlines 51 vulnerabilities with Flock's equipment. Additionally, the cameras run Android version 8, meaning the OS security updates haven't happened since 2021. U.S. legislators have asked the FTC to probe the company on the grounds of national security. This month, Skagit County Superior Court ruled all Flock photos are public record. Now any stalker, domestic abuser, or ICE agent can receive a cache of photos and feed it into open ALPR. The ACLU advises reducing the default 30-day storage window. I hope this lack of oversight concerns you. The company doesn't take data security seriously, and the city has failed to uphold its value of transparency in the implementation and use. I ask the city to immediately cease use of this AI-powered surveillance system until safeguards are publicly established and the legal and security concerns I have brought forth are thoroughly considered. When considering the efficacy of this system, be aware Flock's research comes from, all of their stats come from a white paper in 2024 authored by 2 Flock employees who have no other academic citations or publications. This technology technology like it can be helpful, but this specific one is irresponsible, and it's a liability and danger to the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next?
Hello, my name is Tara Shuttleworth. I live in
Tara-
Wenatchee,
Tara-
Washington.
You already got your 3 minutes.
Oh, I can't do another?
No.
It's so timely. Please give me one.
Nope, it's 3 minutes, so you can come back to the next city council. Any records you guys have that you're doing it, if you want to scan them in and send them to us, we'll make sure everybody at city council will get them also, or whoever else you want to. Who's next?
Hi, good morning. Hi, my name is Manuel Valencia. I live here in Wenatchee for almost after 2000. Right now, I am in the middle of the bad situation for myself. I'm the owner for 718 South Mission. I got legal issues with the city. We already cleaned, but now I assume the fine, I remember, can you say around 3,000? I need continuous work. I applied for 2 positions here in the city. I hope so hearing me. And right now I am in difficult conditions for my economy, but I trust in our God. He give me the good direction to continue with my life. I not count with my daughters and my wife. It's only my son, but he's in the university in Whitworth, Spokane. I want to, if it's possible, made a petition to remove this fine to my case. My property is completely empty. Yesterday the inspector is over there, and I want to work here together. And the 2015, we worked for thousands and thousands of hours for volunteer for United Neighborhood Association. Now it's my turn. I need help to continue working and support my family. So I have I can show you the I have a lot of, let me show you the papers.
Remember, Manuel, you only limited it 3 minutes,
Yes.
okay? All right. We'll pass them out if you want to just hand them out. Okay, that's fine. Just get them all here. Do you want to keep talking?
Yes.
Okay, because your 3 minutes are going to be up.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you. The last I applied for parks and maintenance, so continuous work together with the city. Now I need your help to continue. And I apply in different places, but I want, if it's possible, give me the opportunity to work here. Thank you.
So I just, quick question, man. Did you say there's a $3,000 penalty on your property that the city's doing?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a different process for that. I just want to make sure. So we'll
Yes.
have somebody reach out and make sure you get to the right, the group for that, okay?
Yes.
All right,
So thank you.
all right,
very
thank you,
much.
Manuel.
Thanks.
Glenn, can you help me with that? Okay, okay, thank you. Who's next? Seeing none, we'll go to our consent items.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion for the city council to approve the agenda vouchers and minutes from previous meetings. Resolution number 2025-40, appointing Caroline Rex Waller as a member of the Wenatchee Arts, Recreation, and Parks Commission. Final contract voucher for the City of Wenatchee project number SW23-05, Convention Center Roofing Project Phase 2. Final contract voucher for the City of Wenatchee project number 2106, WWTP, Blower Building Improvements. Fourth Amendment to the lease with Washington State Apple Blossom Festival Association. Facility use agreement extension with the City of Chelan Douglas Child Services Association, and 2026 waste management rate increase.
Second.
Is that how yours are? We have a motion. We have a motion by Councilmember Hornby and second by Councilmember Rosine regarding the agenda vouchers and minutes from previous meeting. Resolution number 2025-40, appointing Caroline Rex Waller as a member of the Wenatchee Arts, Recreation, and Parks Commission. And the final contract voucher for City of Wenatchee project number SW23-05, Convention Center Roofing Project Phase 2. The final contract voucher for City of Wenatchee project number 2106, WWTP Blower Building Improvements. Fourth addendum to lease with the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival Association and the Facilities Use Agreement Extension with Chelan Douglas Child Service Associations and the 2026 Waste Management Rate Increase. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Go to our action items. Hi, Kelsey.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Kelsey Grover, Stormwater Technician. And this evening, I have a motion for council to adopt ordinance number 2025-15 related to the definition of the Stormwater Management Manual for Eastern Washington in City Code Section 9.20. So as mentioned earlier this week at the Public Services Committee, we are addressing this definition because in 2024, the city was issued our newest version of the Eastern Washington Phase 2 Municipal Stormwater Permit, which is essentially the state law that governs our stormwater program and our ability to discharge stormwater into the Columbia River. And in that permit, we saw some big changes to our requirements for construction and post-construction stormwater runoff controls. But fortunately for us, we don't have to implement those until 2027 because those are going to be a fairly large change in the size of the projects that trigger the stormwater requirement. So as I said, those don't come into play until 2027. At the same time, the Department of Ecology also issued or published the 2024 version of the Stormwater Management Manual for Eastern Washington, which reflects those lower thresholds that we have some time before we have to implement. So currently, the code reads, and all the references to the manual are to the most current version. Well, the most current version references those newer, the newer thresholds. And so we're proposing to change that language to be the version required by the permit according to the permit timelines. So that gives us that flexibility to continue using the previous version of the manual, which is 2019 and the 2019 standards, until we have the time, until we bring them up to the 2027 requirements. So effective 30 days after adoption, like I said, this code will, or this change will allow us to continue using the version of the manual and the requirements that we are currently using. And then in the next year or so, we'll begin the outreach efforts to let developers and our community know what those new requirements will look like.
You already brought this to
Public Services Committee
Public
on
Service
Tuesday,
Committee.
yes.
Okay, perfect.
Questions?
Any questions?
Your Honor, I'll make a motion for City Council to adopt ordinance number 2025-15, amending Wenatchee City Code sections 9.20.020, 110, 10, and 9.20.0403 related to the definition of the Stormwater Management Manual for Eastern Washington.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Ewer and second by Councilmember Atkinson for City Council to adopt ordinance number 2025-15, amending Wenatchee City Code Section 9.20.020, parentheses 10 and 9.20.0403, related to the definition of the Stormwater Management Manual for Eastern Washington. Any other discussion or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, have a good evening.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Council, Mr. Mayor. Mike Hodgson, the wastewater treatment plant supervisor for the city of Wenatchee. I'm here to request the city approval to apply for a Public Works Board funding for the construction dollars of the 2025 to 2027 millennium for improvements to the digester and boiler at the wastewater treatment plant, and authorize the city administrator to sign the application certification form. This is just a prerequisite to get the approval from the council to actually apply for the funding through the Public Works Board. And this is for our capital improvement project that was approved by the city council, I believe, in 2023, for a new boiler, blend tank to help out our digesters, and a new automated polymer system in the solids facility. And this was presented at a finance committee last week. Any questions, Charlie?
No question. In fact, I'm ready to make a motion. Your Honor, I'll move for the City Council to authorize staff to apply for Public Works Board funding for construction dollars in the 2025-27 biennium for improvements to the digesters and boilers at the wastewater treatment plant, and authorize the city administrator to sign the applicant certification forms for this application.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Atkinson, second by Councilmember Cuevas for City Council to authorize staff to apply for Public Works Board funding for construction dollars in the 2025-2027 biennium for improvements to the digesters and boilers at the wastewater treatment plant, and authorize the city administrator to sign the applicant certification forms for this application. Any discussion or comments? I always think it's interesting, you gotta get city council approval to apply. I do, and I know that's one of the requirements. I just think it's interesting. That's part of the process.
Whatever it takes to get funding, guys.
Yeah. Any other comments or discussion for Mike? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Apply freely.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. Jessica Shaw, Deputy Public Works Director, Utilities. And our next item is a request for an amendment to an agreement we have with Jacobs Engineering. So we entered into this agreement back in January to update our wastewater facilities plan. And at that time, we were aware, the project Mike Hodgson just mentioned with our digesters, we're working on increasing capacity of those. But then in January, the Department of Ecology also notified us after we'd entered in the agreement that we've reached 85% capacity of the wastewater treatment plant. We've seen a lot of growth in our community and it's starting to show in our treatment plant. And so this amendment will look at expansion of our secondary treatment processes. And so figure out what the alternatives are and start planning for the future so that we can continue to grow. So the request is for an amendment to the existing contract in the amount of, let's see here. I don't know that I have the numbers here, but it is paid for through our professional services budget from our sewer utility funds. And so we do have the budget both this year and next year to cover this amendment. Here it is. The amendment is for $135,214. So that will cover some additionally modeling to look at some different alternatives. And then we'll come back and present with you some of the options for expanding the capacity of the treatment plant. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about that.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion for City Council to approve Amendment Number 1 to the Professional Services Agreement with Jacobs Engineering Group, Inc. for the wastewater treatment plant facilities plan amendment and authorize the city administrator's signature.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Rodestan and second by Councilmember Navarro Gomez for City Council to approve Amendment Number 1 to the Professional Service Agreement with the Jacobs Engineering Group Incorporated for the wastewater treatment plant facilities plan amendment and authorize the city administrator's signature. Any other discussion or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello, Charlotte.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Charlotte Mitchell, Senior Project Engineer. Today I bring to you the bid award for the 2026 chip seal project. For this chip seal, I know that in the past we've had some heartburn over it, so I've added some things to the project to hopefully make things a little smoother and more aesthetically pleasing for this chip seal than a traditional style. If you recall, we put this out for bids earlier this year, and the bids we got were beyond our budget. So I repackaged the project into a base bid plus some alternates, and we put it back out to bid. The lowest, we got 3 bids. The lowest, the lowest responsive bidder was Central Washington Asphalt. And their bid for the base plus alternate 1 fits within our budget and is what we are asking to award tonight. That will chip seal about 5.3 miles of our city streets. And a list of locations is in your packet. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Was it a more favorable bid, the second one, or just you changed the scope?
It was pretty similar bid prices, but I repackaged it so we could award a smaller scope if necessary, since the budget wasn't there for the full scope. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just curious, is, because we estimate what it should be, right? And then it came out higher. Is it oil? Is it, do you have any, what's your thought process why?
Why it's higher?
Yes.
prices never go down,
Yes.
first of all. And second of all, I think maybe in scoping it, I need to look at our, in our street saver, the costs that they use to estimate it. That's on my list to do actually in the next month, and to reevaluate that, because in the past couple of years, I noticed it's been kicking out lists that are much longer than we can actually get for the money. And so I think what we need to do is increase some estimations in the actual street saver project, or program itself. And so then it'll give me more realistic. I had already cut a bunch of scope out and I thought we were good, but, we just couldn't get quite there, yeah.
So my question was, how much of a reduction was it in terms of scope, you think?
So a lot of the things that were cut out were really short streets with cul-de-sacs at the end. I tried to make sure that we were hitting the more populous and more traveled streets, but trying to take care of a greater amount of our citizens. So I guess it was about, I think, $500,000 worth of things that I had to cut out of there. So the program overshot the scope this time around, but we're gonna rein that in on the future. Yeah, it's a bummer, but it's just part of what we have to do to meet our budget.
And we would like to see that budget raised.
You give me money, I will pave,
Yeah.
or chip seal.
Your Honor,
Yes.
can I make a motion?
Oh, of course.
Okay, I would like to make a motion for City Council to authorize the mayor's signature and award the contract for city project number 2401, 2026 chip seal to Central Washington Asphalt for the base bid plus alternate one.
Second?
We have a motion by Councilmember Navarro Gomez and second by Councilmember Atkinson for City Council to authorize the mayor's signature and award the contract for city project number 2401-2026 chip seal to Central Washington Asphalt for the base bid plus alternate one. Any other discussion or comments?
Just one, our roads are falling apart. We need to get the community involved with understanding the need behind this. And so I encourage us to try to get organized in that this next year.
I'm happy to talk to anybody who will listen to me about pavement.
Great.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you so much.
It says Alyssa, but I don't think,
I'm not Alyssa.
yes.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Aaron Kelly, Deputy Public Works Director, Operations. I'm here this evening with change order number 16 to the contract with Absher Construction Company for the Wenatchee Convention Center Expansion Project, number 2212. Change order number 16 is the most significant change order to date. The change order is outlined in your council packet, but in summary, there's 6 impacts that cause this change order. The first one is on the second floor, some floor leveling needed to be done to be able to match up to the new flooring. Existing ductwork in the ceiling conflicted also with some of the new ducting. And then 3 was conduit conflict with the new kitchen space. And then a location of conduit and old foundation were found underneath the sidewalk as we were redoing some of the front entry area. We also had unavailable mechanical equipment, which caused us to also redesign some electrical. And then the last is, we also just had challenges with the new gas ovens for the existing kitchen, which kind of delayed the project by a day. These 6 items added 41 calendar days to the project, bringing the total contract extension to just over 10 weeks. With this change order and the handful of items that still are open, we are planned to be closed out under budget. Is there any questions about this?
We were kind of thinking anything under 10% contingency, and I think we made it, didn't we?
Correct. You're still, and really, we're looking at probably by the end of it is still being under 8%, so.
I appreciate you and Alyssa working hard and keeping them there. It's a wonderful grand opening the other night, and it sure looks pretty, so.
Thank you.
Thank you both very much. Any other questions for Aaron?
Your Honor, I'll make a motion for City Council to approve change order number 16 for the City of Wenatchee project number 2212 with Absher Construction Company and authorize the mayor's signature.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Ewer and second by Councilmember Cuevas for City Council to approve change order number 16 for the City of Wenatchee project number 2212 with Absher Construction Company and authorize the mayor's signature. Any other comments or discussion?
Sorry, I'm question boy tonight. Aaron, I don't have a question for you, just to remind everybody this improvement is not paid for out of the general fund. It is paid for by visitors, so it's also a benefit for all.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Darcy Ronning, Utility Project Manager for Public Works Department here at the City of Wenatchee. I am back again. This time I'm here tonight to ask for your approval to allow the mayor to sign a contract I've brought before you it's a Department of Ecology Stormwater Financial Assistance Project. This time it is for the construction phase of our Pershing Street Stormwater Project, which we are hopeful we will bid this coming January, put it out for ad, and start construction this spring with completion at the end of next fall. And so at this time, after going to finance with the draft agreement, I am here with the final agreement that we will sign, and this will kick off the project so we can move this project forward. The Department of Ecology agreement is in the total of $3,924,609. $3 million of that, little over $3 million, is funded by the Water Quality Assistance Grant. And we have a forgivable principle due to a portion which they consider like green infrastructure, which is we get a benefit for that if some of the projects include that. And so there's a forgivable principle of another $342,170. So, I'm sorry, $17, not $117. These low interest loans really help us improve our stormwater infrastructure in the city. So we're excited with your permission to do another one next year. I would entertain any questions you have if anything is new.
What kind of interest rate? You said low, so I just kind of.
Yes, 1.5.
1.5, okay.
Each bucket is funded slightly different, the forgivable, but the loan portion that we will borrow, we're going to borrow the match on these grants. We always have a 15% match, and we're rolling that into a loan that will include the canyon drain portion of the work in the street. So we will have a 1.5 interest on that loan. And that is payable over 5 years.
Thanks.
Double checking myself here.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion for City Council to approve the Department of Ecology Water Quality Combined Financial Assistance Agreement for the construction phase of the Pershing Street Stormwater Retrofit Project and authorize the mayor's signature.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Hornby and second by Councilmember Rotestein for City Council to approve the Department of Ecology Water Quality Combined Financial Assistance Agreement for the construction phase of the Pershing Street Stormwater Retrofit Project and authorize the mayor's signature. Any other discussion or comments? Thanks for doing this. Yeah.
It's a great project.
Yeah.
And lots of need up there, and you got us some free money.
Thank you.
All
I'll
those
be
in-
back when I need the construction approved.
all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Hello, Jeremy.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Jeremy Hoover, Senior Utility Engineer for City Public Works. I'm here tonight to talk to you about the Crawford Avenue Water Line Replacement Project, specifically the funding for the project. The city, with council approval, applied for 2 separate loan packages to construct the improvements of the Crawford Water Line Replacement. One was from the Public Works Board, the other was from the State Department of Health. We were successful in getting funding from those two entities. And I'm here to present a motion to you tonight to accept the loan funds from the Public Works Board and the Department of Health. That way we can initiate the contracts, put together the statements of work, and get this project moving. Little bit of history behind this. The water line replacement is all the way from Okanagan to Miller Street. The city also has a project to reconstruct the intersection of Okanagan and Crawford, which was separately grant funded. And we have made the determination that in order to take advantage of some economy of scale, we will combine the two projects and bid them both out here in the, before spring of 2026. That way we have the same contractor on it, we've got the same traffic control, and everything will work a little bit more seamlessly than to have two separate contractors out there working at the same time. In regards to the loan, as I mentioned, there are two separate loans. One from the Public Works Board is for a total of $3 million, and the loan from the Department of Health is $851,000. Together, $3.8 million and change. The Public Works Board loan is 2.12% for 20 years. There are three particular performance incentives associated with that. We can get rate reductions of 0.1, 0.25, and 0.5%, depending on the time of completion, specifically under 4 years or under 3 years, and whether or not we make timely draws on the loan. We will have it done well within 3 years, and we will be making timely withdrawals on the loan. So we will be able to get an interest rate reduction or an extension in time, whichever one we so desire to go with. The Department of Health loan is at 2.25%. That's also a 20-year note. There is a 1% loan fee associated with that project, where there is not a loan fee associated with the Public Works Board loan. There are also no performance incentives for the Department of Health loan. That having been said, this motion was introduced to Finance Committee last week, and I did not get any major questions, but I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion for City Council to accept the Public Works Board and Department of Health funding for construction of the Crawford water main replacement and authorize the mayor to sign the loan agreements associated with each application.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Ostian and second by Councilmember Navarro Gomez for City Council to accept the Public Works Board and Department of Health funding for construction of the Crawford water main replacement and authorize the mayor to sign the loan agreements associated with each application. Any other discussion or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. And you don't look like Emma.
Mayor Poyer, council members, good evening. Tom Walkholder, Public Works Director. I'm going to present this item on behalf of Emma Honeycutt, our Assistant City Engineer. The subject of this action item is related to a Community Safety Action Plan grant agreement acceptance. A little bit of history. In 2024, the city received a $146,000 grant to develop a citywide Community Safety Action Plan from the Washington Traffic Safety Commission. This plan will utilize the safe systems approach, which Emma Honeycutt has presented to the council just in the last few weeks, or last month or so on this, to reduce fatal or serious injury collisions throughout the city of Wenatchee with a goal of completely eliminating them. The plan will merge the supplemental existing planning efforts that we have underway, which is the Safe Streets for All Safety Action Plan, Pedestrian Master Plan, and the Local Road Safety Plan. This project is ultimately delivered into two phases. The first phase of the project, the grant's about, this is a $30,000 phase that started in 2025. That funded a task force to go to two conferences, one in Spokane and one in Pittsburgh. And the second phase of the grant, which will be implemented in 2026, this is a $116,000 phase. One thing to note that this is 100% grant funded and does not require any matching funds from the city. So the task force is comprised of community development and public works department staff, school district staff, council members, police department staff, Link Transit staff, Chelan Douglas Community Action Council, DOT, and fire department personnel as well. So this task force will meet periodically throughout 2026 with the ultimate goal of developing a final draft of this plan by September and also in the meantime, putting together some outreach efforts and a couple trainings as well. With that being said, I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have on this.
I just comment that I think this is an outstanding opportunity, and we're hopeful of some junior city council involvement on that task force, just because youth drivers are an important part of a community safety action plan, so.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion for City Council to authorize the mayor to sign the Community Safety Action Plan grant agreement with the Washington Traffic Safety Commission and approve the project budget.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Rodestein and a second by Councilmember Ewer for City Council to authorize the mayor to sign the Community Safety Action Plan grant agreement with the Washington Traffic Safety Commission and approve the project budget. Any other discussion or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Contracts.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Glenn DeVries, Community Development Department. Today, I have a couple recommendations from the Columbia River Homeless Task Force for 2 contracts. And before I do that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the budget that those fit within. There were some changes in this year's budget, which is also before you. We're having some cost savings because of the closure of Safe Park 2 and Old Station. But it's because we've had success out there. We've been able to exit people out of homelessness into better situations or permanent RV parks. At this time, there's not a need for that. The future use will be evaluated in the coming years. But this time it's closed down. That's saving us a considerable amount of funds. We've redefined and simplified our diversion funds, going from 90,000 to 40,000. Half of that going to entry fees for Oxford-style housing, exiting 20 individuals out of homelessness into transitional facilities. We're eliminating our contract for city outreach and going with a city staff member for outreach to better match the desired messaging from the 2 cities. And there are some changes, minor changes, which I'll talk about for insurance and cost of living adjustments in the contracts. And then we'd like to add, and it's in the city budget, purchase an additional family pallet shelter unit. This is one of them. When the pallet shelters were installed at the rescue mission, we had 1 family unit. It's really hard to house unsheltered individuals as families. A lot of times the families get split up, and this is getting a lot of use. And when this went in, we added extra gravel and extra electrical components, hoping we can add another pallet shelter. And so in this year's budget, we have that in the budget that you'll be looking at tonight. Our budget numbers are looking really good. We've decreased our budget from roughly 2.2 million to roughly 1.8 million in the 26 budget. We're a net income anticipated at the end of 2026 of over $500,000, with a budget balance anticipated of roughly $1.9 million. Overall, we're hoping to keep a minimum in reserves of $1 million. The nice news about that is we're building reserves. Our ultimate goal is to maintain our shelter, our outreach program and diversions, but be able to, as we go through our comprehensive planning process with the 2 cities, be able to think about, and you'll be directly involved in, what are those priorities for use of those funds in the future, and you'll be doing that in 2026. We've already received feedback through the public process. Then in 27, you can start to make some fund decisions on how those funds are allocated. So good news, those funds are building. So before you tonight are 2 contracts. These overall show all the contracts, but 2 of them require council authorization for the mayor to sign. The others are just part of the overall budget that you'd be passing. And the top 2 are the shelter facilities that the 2 cities fund. The first one, the rescue mission, which has 65 congregate beds, the RV safe park at the rescue mission,
the pallet shelters themselves, which, if the budget gets approved, would go up to 45 units, 94 beds. And then one new component now is there'll be an overflow in the Wenatchee Rescue Mission of a 50 additional cots. That works really well if there's a cold weather or a extreme heat event or wildfires. And they're doing that at no additional cost. The only additional costs for that program this year were 3.3% COLA added, and then a roughly $2,000 addition to help insurance costs that the city is requiring. But overall, that budget's going from previous amount of $1,067,000 roughly down to $712,710 in the proposed contract with the rescue mission. The second contract before you that we're looking for authorization for is with the People's Foundation. It's a nighttime drop-in shelter for 50 beds. The previous contract was $210,000 a year, going to $218,180. The reason for the increase, again, is cost of living adjustments of 3.3%, and then stipend to help cover insurance requirements that the city's insurance carrier is requiring. The other contracts here I just listed come from different fund sources, and they're below the threshold that need authorization, but that is with the Women's Resource Center. We help with operational costs for 20 units, the YWCA for operational costs for permanent supportive housing for 7 units, and then the 4-bed family pallet shelter that I mentioned, and those are wrapped into the city budget that you'll be looking at. But I just wanted to give you the broader context of the whole program that that is before you. But the two requests is a recommended motion to authorize the mayor to enter into the grant agreement with the entities for contract period between January 1, 2026 and December 31, 2026 for the People's Foundation and the Wenatchee Rescue Mission. And happy to answer any questions you might have.
It's not like a surprise. You've been working, I know we all been working on this, but you've been reaching out so they know what's been going on, and they're supportive of like the outreach to come internal to see the different vision, I guess.
They are, and it's been a really good partnership with the providers, and it's been there's been a big impact with our homeless services administrator being in the community. Roughly, I believe, significant decrease in service calls, Chief?
Yes, to date this year, we've seen a reduction of about 3,500 calls per service over last year and prior similar years. And anecdotally, when asked, officers reflected that it was the presence of having that homeless resource administrator out there, making the contacts and increasingly getting people from being unhoused on the street into some form of housing.
So it's just a great partnership with community-based policing. Being out there to try to get people into services is our goal, and just really good partnerships with the business community as well.
So I just have a couple of comments. One, Glenn, I commend you and your staff for all the effort you did in organizing the overall community to tackle this giant issue. I commend the mayor for having a mission of it's inhumane to be outside and moving people, and you said it tonight that we're moving people into permanent housing. I think that's incredible. Our community's also stepped up and organized together that wasn't done before, so I appreciate all of that. Anything else? All right, I will read this tiny little motion. Motion for the city council to authorize the mayor to enter into a grant agreement with the following entities for the following amounts and identified purpose. 1, People's Foundation for the grant contract extension in the amount of $218,180 for the purchase of providing 50 low barrier shelter beds at St. Francis House, with the contract period extending from January 1, 26 through the end of December 31, 26. And Wenatchee Rescue Mission for the grant contract maintaining the supporting one emergency safe park RV program for the unsheltered low barrier shelter sleep center with 45 individual detached shelter units with 94 beds, and a congregate low barrier shelter facility with 45 men's beds, 20 women's beds, and extreme weather shelter for beds for a combined amount There's not enough commas in here. $712,700, and the contract period extending from January 1, 26 to the end of December 31, 26.
Second.
We have a long motion by Councilmember Hornby and second by Councilmember Atkinson. For City Council, authorize the mayor to enter into grant agreements with the following entities for the following amounts and the identified purposes. The People's Foundation for grant contract extension in the amount of $218,180 for the purpose of providing 50 low-barrier shelter beds at St. Francis House with a contract period extending from January 1st, 2026 through the end of the December 31st, 2026. 2, the Wenatchee Rescue Mission for a grant contract maintaining and supporting one emergency safe park RV program for the unsheltered, a low-barrier shelter sleep center for 45 individual detached shelter units with 94 beds, a congruent low-barrier shelter facility with 45 men's beds, 20 women's beds, and an extreme weather shelter for 50 beds for a combined amount of $712,700 with a contract period extending from January 1st, 2026 through the end of December 31st, 2026. Any other discussion or comments?
Just a quick comment that, additional funds that you all are able to accumulate, I think that's tremendous that we'd have some options to look at for some transitional housing so that we can continue to keep those beds available. So good job.
Maybe we should have a workshop sometime next year about what some of our options could come about, if that's what the city council desires.
Sounds great.
Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll go to our one of two public hearings. You want a break? We're going to take a 5-minute break.
Good dog.
Very different, isn't it?
We're going to start our public hearing. Councilmember Ewer, I'm sure will be here in a minute. So I'll call this public hearing order regarding the 2024 Community Development Block Grant, Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. Staff will first give a report, followed then by public testimony with a 3-minute limit. And again, state your name and address regarding, then I'll turn it back over to staff for any additional questions that council will have. And Glenn, you're up.
Great, thank you. Every year, we hold 2 hearings on our Community Development Block Grant Program. We're a entitlement community, meaning we receive funds from the Office of Housing and Urban Development through the CDBG program. And part of the requirements of that program are that we hold 2 hearings. The first hearing, what we do is an annual action plan, which we did earlier this year, and we identify projects that meet the goals of the city. And so the project for this program year was for funded program infrastructure improvements for the First Street area, which included accessibility improvements at the intersections of Buchanan, Cleveland, and Garland. So $315,485 was spent on that project. It was a great project. This second hearing tonight, our requirement is 1, to hold the hearing, take public comments, and for planning staff to provide you a report that essentially says, okay, this was the goal in the annual action plan. Did we or did we not do the work? So we did, the work was completed in the fund amount of $315,485. So what we're asking for council to do is 2 things. 1, take any public testimony. And 2, simply we'd request that you simply accept the report. And that is all the requirement entails. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Then we'll get the money.
Yes, and they'll pay for the funds.
Any prospect or sense about future funding on this?
It did decrease this year. It's really uncertain going forward. It works well for the city because we have really great talented staff in Public Works. And Natalie Ann is amazing at keeping track of all the federal requirements. And we stay very focused on our program. There are so many complex steps, but because we only do one thing every year and we have great staff in Public Works, we can make it work. When you start to doing splitting up the program into all sorts of little projects, the amount of work involved makes it cost prohibitive and time prohibitive. But doing it in this fashion, it works. So hopefully we don't get our funds decreased too much in the future. Hopefully it can maintain.
When do you typically find out what you're getting for the next year?
I believe that's in the spring. I'm sorry, I don't have the exact date. Spring, early summer, I believe.
So this was an impactful grant. I don't know if anybody's driven up First Street and seen that change. Some of those sidewalks were put in 1928, so now that's a low-income area, a lot of area. I've seen the use of the handicap ramp, so improving accessibility, it was overall a great project.
I drove around it. It's a lot better now.
That's great.
It looks nicer too.
Okay, I think I'll turn it over to the public. That anybody wish from the public to talk about the Community Development Block Grant, if you'd come up and state your name and address in 3 minutes. Seeing none. Staff, do you have anything else or? Okay.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion for this.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Atkinson. I need to close the hearing. So the public hearing on the 2024 Community Development Block Grant Annual Performance Evaluation is now closed, and now I'll turn it over to the City Council for their action.
Okay, I'll make that motion for the City Council to accept the 2024 Community Development Block Grant Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Atkinson and second by Councilmember Navarro Gomez for the City Council to accept the 2024 Community Development Block Grant Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. Any discussion, comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, our last public hearing is regarding ordinance 2025-14, adopting the final budget for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2026. And it's the same conditions. The staff will go first with some questions from city council, and then we'll turn it over to the public.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm Brad Posenjack, Finance Director. I promise you a short presentation for a lengthy process. We started back in July, working with the different departments to craft the 2026 budget. And then after working with the departments, working with Finance Committee, drafting the preliminary budget, we presented the preliminary budget at a lengthier conversation at the beginning of October. And then we talked about it 2 weeks ago here at City Council. And I believe most of the questions have been answered. The budget that you have tonight is the same budget that we presented 2 weeks ago. So unless you have any questions, I'm not going to spend too much time going over it. I will give just a background on we are required by state statute to adopt a budget. And basically, when you look at Exhibit A of the ordinance, that is what we are adopting, the total expenses by fund for a total of $228 million. This is by far the largest budget we've adopted. Of that, $130 million of it is capital projects because we have a very large slate of capital projects this year. And $38 million for the general fund is also the largest budget we've adopted for that. However, a lot of the other discretionary items that we would normally entertain from departments, the one-time requests, that is much smaller than it has been since I've been here. Just because we knew going into this process, this was going to be a very tight budget. And so we held back quite a bit this year to try to be as safe and conservative as we could to get this budget adopted. And I do want to thank all the directors, the leadership, city council, the mayor, finance committee. This was not an easy budget to get through, but I do feel like we are in a good spot for 2026.
I'm sure people, I truly appreciate you more this year than I ever have. Yeah, I kind of felt like I sat with you the whole time through this.
Yep.
Yeah,
It was good.
you're good.
Thanks.
That's just the facts. You're good.
Oh, thanks.
Good.
Any other questions for Brad? If not, I'll turn it over to the public that wish to speak for 3 minutes regarding the final budget.
Hello, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Tara Shuttleworth, and I live at the Burke Hill Apartments. I'm responding to the implementation of the crime tax that will take effect in April. Although I understand and agree that this tax is necessary to support the city budget and to provide additional resources for our police department, I believe it is important for the council to recognize that there is a significant mistrust and misunderstanding surrounding both the tax itself and the current relationship between the community and the city of Wenatchee. Much of this misunderstanding stems from a lack of accessible information. This is not the fault of the public, but rather the result of declining local journalism. As more media outlets move to digital platforms and face budget cuts, we are losing the reporters who once helped keep the community informed and engaged. During my research, I discovered that the city once hosted a program called Let's Talk, which ended in 2014. This program provided a casual, open space where Wenatchee residents could meet directly with civic leaders to discuss issues, ask questions, and build trust. With the passage of the crime tax and considering the level of debt the city is currently managing, I believe it would benefit both the city and the community to reinstate the Let's Talk program. In a time when reporting is limited, our residents need a more personal, direct way to understand city's decisions and engage in meaningful dialogue. Thank you.
Anybody else from the public would like to come up for 3 minutes, talk about the budget? I'll turn it back over to staff and city council to ask questions. Brad, can you tell me the dates that, I'm just curious, that you had to put it on on the server and things like that? I'm just kind of go through that.
Yes, I believe our October 1st, our proposed preliminary budget was required to be made available to the public. And so I think the day before October 1st, we had that proposed preliminary budget on our website. And then we updated that at the beginning of November, right before November 1st, to show our official preliminary budget, which then ended up becoming the budget you see tonight.
Other questions from city council to Brad? Do you have any other comments?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, well, the public hearing on ordinance 2025-14 is now closed, and I'll turn it to city council for any action.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion for city council to adopt ordinance number 2025-14, adopting the final budget for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Hornby and second by Councilmember Cuevas for city council to adopt ordinance number 2025-14, adopting the final budget for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2026. Any other comments or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor's report, I have a couple people that's going to help me out.
Mayor Poyer, council members, good evening. Just a quick update on Confluence Parkway. So Zach Horton, one of our project engineers, accompanied Mayor Poyer, went door to door and hand delivered thank you letters to all the impacted folks in the Confluence Parkway Phase 1 project area. My understanding that those were well received, and the folks that were not in attendance or that live elsewhere but own property, we mailed letters as well. So just a quick update on that.
Yesterday, we had our exit conference with the state auditors. Earlier this year, they performed our financial statement and our grant audits, and now they were wrapping up the accountability audit. In the accountability audit, they look at our compliance with various laws. The specific areas that they looked at this year were our use of credit cards, our public works projects and emergency purchases, compliance with public works projects like change orders, retainage requirements. They looked at how we purchase and sell some of our property, especially a lot of the right-of-way purchases that are involved with Confluence Parkway. They looked at our software conversion. Over the last couple of years, we've implemented a new accounting software and payroll software, and so they looked at that to make sure everything came over correctly. They also look at open public meetings. So all the minutes from these meetings, they look to make sure that the city is complying with the open public meetings laws. And all in all, they found no significant issues, and one of the comments they made at our exit conference was that the city has strong controls as evidenced by the lack of elevated audit issues, both in the current audit and prior audits. So we've got a great audit team here in Wenatchee, and they have nothing but good things to say about all the staff here, responsiveness to their questions, the openness of
of documentation. And so it's a very, very, very clean place to work.
Just says again that you do a good job.
Every,
I made him say this tonight, because the fact is, we wouldn't have those clean audits if we didn't have those controls, and Brad's responsible for that, so.
well, all the departments here are
You
responsible
can just say
for that.
you're welcome.
You're welcome. But I should say.
Who else do we have?
So good evening, Mayor and Council. From the Police Department, it's been, well, since the last council meeting, 2 eventful weeks with civic engagement. On the 7th, we did Stuff the Bus, which is a precursor to an event that occurs tomorrow, we'll get to in a moment. But Stuff the Bus was held at Walmart for 4 hours. We received somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 pounds of grocery items, donated all by shoppers with minimal prior advertising, just talking to people at the door. These items will be used in tomorrow's event, which is called Operation Turkey Drop, in conjunction with Walmart and some grants provided by them that we spent in the store to purchase roasting pans and turkeys and probably hams this year because of other funds raised. We should be able to set up dinner boxes for Thanksgiving and actually probably 2 to 3 or maybe even 4 days worth of food for about 100 families in the Wenatchee School District.
Wow.
Families are identified by the schools themselves and then working with the social workers that are in the schools to distribute those items. That will occur tomorrow morning. We'll build the boxes and then we'll start passing them out. This is the brainchild of Officer Fuller a couple of years ago, and it's grown to a really remarkable program that is really civic-minded. The excess groceries, and there will be a lot, will go to the school districts. I think it's called the Panther Cupboard or something like that, through Wenatchee High School to provide additional grocery items for needy families to come grocery shop. Additionally, last Friday, we had hosted the Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce Leadership Academy for part of their, I guess, Criminal Justice Day, where Councilmember Ewer brought about 20 students to the Wenatchee Police Department, where they spent 2.5 hours with us, having a look at how we do things and just learning more about the police department, which also last night, we graduated our Citizens Academy, concluding 14 weeks with about 20 students out at the Wenatchee Valley Technical Skills Center. Mayor Poyer joined me to talk to the class and present their graduations. So realistically, between hundreds of people we saw at Walmart who helped us with donations for Stuff the Bus, the 100 or so families we'll see tomorrow, the 20 members of Citizens Academy, and on and on and on. It's been a real outreach-heavy time of year, and we're only 2 weeks away from Shop with Cops, which will be another 42 Wenatchee School District families that we'll have contact with, another donor-driven program to outreach.
Great news.
Fantastic work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, City Council, what have you guys been up to?
I'll go first. Okay, well, I, first of all, want to start with just the great work that our city has done with just our ordinance, with changes with our homeless, and like most of our city council members here, I've received many emails just thanking us for all the great work and just seeing that our homeless people are now finding the resources that they need and not necessarily out on the streets as much. So thank you letters from our community members. Attended the Wenatchee Valley Convention Center. Great job to our internal team, and just it's such a beautiful way to celebrate the continued growth and prospect of our community here. Attended the planning committee just yesterday. There's a couple new ordinances. There's one that has to do with multi-housing units and just talking about how we're seeing more and more multi-housing units in our city, and we're just adapting to fit the needs of our community members. And also attended the finance committee, and that is it. And JCC committee, of course. Our junior city council is doing, you guys, I would invite all of you to attend. They look like professionals up here on the podium, and they just have taken it on, and we're excited to see what they will continue to do. So thank you.
That next meeting is Thursday, December 4th. We start at 6 o'clock. You're certainly welcome. Yeah. We had a museum board meeting, and it was the first meeting after we had approved those agreements. That brought joy to the museum board that that's done, as it did to us. They're 66% of the way towards their $30 million goal of their expansion project. They're packing their collections and moving those to what was Valley Academy, and Councilmember Cuevas attended as a guest, as he will be assuming that role come the first of the year, so.
So the WDA, we voted in a couple new board members, so the board is back to being full. Thank the ones that had put their time in. And they're looking forward to the continued collaboration with the city on all the flowers down there to keep the downtown vibrant. Nick Covey is retiring from Link Transit at the end of June this next year, so the work begins to find his replacement in the next 7 months.
Went to Chelan Douglas Community Action Council. They've pretty much done with the remodel, moved all their administrative staff into the new space there. Also, to touch on what Chief said about the Stuff the Bus, so they help distribute a lot of the donations, and they were saying it was pretty much record-breaking how much people gave and how generous our community is this year, so that's really good. Yes, and there was one more thing. I think that's it for me.
We'll come back to you.
Okay, I'll try to.
First of all, I want to note, I did put the junior city council meeting on my calendar, so thank you very much for sharing that tonight. Also, if there's ever opportunity, if they're needing mentorship or just some additional support, I would love to help, even after my time here is done. So please keep me in mind for that. Convention Center ribbon cutting, as Myra mentioned, it was fantastic. What a great turnout. I was really, I knew it would be a big turnout, but I was really impressed with the amount of people that came together. And of course, the Convention Center did an amazing job with the food and the drinks and the decorations and all the things. It was a very exciting moment for our community, and I was very thankful to be there. Public Services Committee was also great. It was just the mayor and I here. We sat down there and had some great conversation. It was wonderful. Lots of things happening, some big things coming up that we're going to have some serious conversations about. But I loved just everyone kind of lingered and collaborated in conversation and really are open to thinking outside the box and trying to find some really creative solutions. So I thought that was fantastic. That's all.
I attended the Junior City Council, and like Councilmember Myra said, it was fabulous. These kids look professional, they're ready to go. I attended the Wenatchee Downtown Association, the annual social they had. It was awesome to hear these great people that they serve for downtown. They go beyond the extra mile. They do extra work that nobody knows. I was shocked at what the stories I've been hearing. I'm really thankful for them. I attended the Wenatchee Convention Center ribbon cutting. Fantastic work with the staff and everybody. That building looks so fabulous. I was just standing and observing. My mind was like, I'm going to have another wedding here.
Do you want to clarify that really quick before you walk?
With your own wife, please.
Same life.
Well, with her.
Yes.
With her. I want to have my 25th year in my renewal.
Please,
This is how it is, is it?
I got so excited because it just,
That's great.
I was
Got
just
excited because it's so nice.
I was
Yes.
just dreaming. I was like, wow, my 25th renewal.
Got your
Yeah.
back.
There we go.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
He needed that.
Yeah, thank you. And I attended the museum, as Charlie's have said. I'm going to be the next board member there starting next year.
Great. Did you remember?
Yes, it was also about the new space at Community Action Council. So they built a really nice conference room that they want to make available to the community for whether it's just classes to help on various things. And then the kitchen is almost done, and that will be used to maybe help teach cooking classes, as well as being allowed for people to maybe start businesses and at a reduced rate to use kitchen to just kind of help the community out. So I think it's really cool if you get a chance. The pantry side is awesome. They're utilizing technology to help streamline and make people feel more comfortable getting those resources. And it's just really cool what they're doing out there. Yep.
It is really great. I think they call it shopping with dignity.
Yeah.
That's how they promote that.
Yeah.
It's really a fantastic setup.
One more thing, Mayor, forgot to ask. I've been attending the Mayhaw Park, the soccer field. It's going fantastic. I hear a lot of great comments, and kids are going every evening, even my son. And I'm just letting you guys know that it's working out great.
Thank you for putting that in there, because I know my husband keeps telling me, tell him how great it is. Tell him how active our youth are out there. He's a coach in our local community, and he's like, it's just so amazing to see. My husband's team has actually pulled a student that they met there at the park, and now he plays for Wenatchee FC and is just an amazing athlete that they would have not discovered
That's great.
had that not been there. So thank you for that, City of Wenatchee.
Well, we got to make sure we have a clean audit, at least the minutes part. So this is the part that our city attorneys always makes us do.
And I'll make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Hey.
Aye.